Welcome to the Pittsburgh Curling Club, where we pick up action in the first end of the second day of TropiCurl 2025 between the hometown Plan B squad from Pittsburgh and a weekend at Bernie's hailing from Columbus, Ohio. And it looks like Red, who is Plan B, is line 2 in the house. First draw of the day, so everybody's getting their bearings on weight, how much curl there is. Nice little hit and roll, and he tucks under a red guard on the left side to sit one. Plan B's rock is on the way. The sweepers are on it early. Not a ton of handle on it. Looks like it curled a little more than they wanted. So ticks off his own guard and is currently shot rock. But yellow aims to change that with this shot. Nice little hack weight hit on the way. It's coming over nicely. Sweepers are trying to keep it from curling, but it looks nice. Mission accomplished, and in 2 shots, yellow now lies 2. Plan B's next shot on the way. There's not much that can go wrong for Red there. Does manage to lose 1 yellow, but 1 stays in the back of the house. And because it's in the back of the house, the call is to come under the high yellow guard for a little protection. Plenty of room, but the sweepers think it could be light. So they're on it, just trying to get another counter in there. It is coming over nicely. Does it have enough juice to make the paint? No. That was right. Wound up a 3 guard, which is just fine. As the Pittsburgh team contemplates what to do, he's thinking about a freeze back there on the yellow. Or a little bounce, now it looks like. So the call is to get rid of the yellow in the back. And maybe just flop over to the left near cover. Don't know that they can get under anything over there. Shot is on the way. Looks a little big, a little inside. They're trying to push it. Mission accomplished with the hit. And they roll to shot rock wide open in the back. So now that second guard that they just threw, the 3 guard, comes into play. Because if they can hit and roll under, now they're set up on the right side. Got the telestrator going. Dustin, my silent partner on the telestrator, shows you what shot they were looking for. Looks a little wide. They could get the hit, but not the roll. And that is indeed what happens. Now we kind of start over the end, but with some guards in play. We were chatting about the telestrator and didn't see what the called shot was, but the result was a throw-through. Pretty sure that's not what they called. Guess they too were worried about that second guard. Trying to get rid of it. To no avail. Everything stays the same. After a brief technical difficulty at the Pittsburgh Curling Club by the way of our monitors falling off the table, we are back.
Very difficult to broadcast.
Monitors are a key. Sweepers are on it. The 2 guards that we've been discussing now come into play, but as buried as they are, that is way in the back of the house, giving Red an opportunity to beat them to the tee line back there. Trying to bury this draw, and they are taking 5 feet of ice. Shot is on the way from the Pittsburgh skip. It's way out there. I think he was probably outside the broom on that, but it was a lot of ice to start with. And he is none too happy as the weight was also big, leaving the Columbus team open for some points here. Weekend at Bernie's has just learned from the previous shot. They moved the broom in a foot. Ostensibly, they're going to try to throw lighter. they hope that will bury this rock. 4-2. That 2 is on the way and extremely wide. Looks a little big as well. I think the speed of the ice might be fooling these guys early. Probably got 3.5 feet of curl on that. They still got the broom out wide. I think with that broom, even with the right weight, they don't get under cover. Oh, they don't have to. This is hammer. That's why they're wide. So they got to get inside the yellow in the back 8 if they want to score. On the way, plenty of room. Weight is the only thing at hand now. Sweepers are right off. And that will settle. Just settles in for 1 red at the end of 1. We regain action in N2 with red up 1-0. No. Yes. Red is up 1-0. Had my colors mixed up for just a moment. I think that winds up a biter, which then means there's a choice to be made if they hit it or don't. Looks like the call was not. Looking for a frozen center guard here. Floating in pretty nice. Coming down. May just get past the yellow. Settles in top 4. Little rotation right at the end. Buried it. So now the call is the peel on their own guard because they really don't like where that red rock settled in. That one curled just a bit to get the red out, but mission accomplished. It's now open. Pittsburgh comes back and wants to put the guard back. settles into what looks like nearly a perfect freeze. Though a perfect freeze isn't necessarily what they wanted there. Looking to guard that rock a little deep. Opportunity here to get rid of at least one red rock. Probably not two. Very nicely done. Red remains shot, but open. So the teams have been trading these open hits, trying to get a roll that'll get somebody under cover and get something going. And that's not really it. Pittsburgh currently sits 2 with 1 under cover. It's under the wrong color cover. And there absolutely is a double here. Shots on the way. This could swing momentum big time if made. Got 1, got 2, and half buried. That's a really nice little shot. Beautiful shot. From the bird's eye view, from where we sit, we can see he turned that in, so it's going to curl too much. Not bad though. Sweepers held it pretty good. It did roll open, so now we're back to the hit and roll game. Who can be the first to get under cover? The hit is made. The roll is not. And now plan B wants to keep it clean by hitting the only rock currently in play. Shot is released a little wide, perhaps. It's coming back. And remains in play after the hit, so a nice shot there. Now, if you hit that back, you really have to get an inside roll for it to be a counter. And that's why his broom is on the edge of the rock. Looks like he turned it out just a hair, so they're trying to push it over. Definitely got the rock. Will they stick around at all? No, sir. So we're up to skip stones with no rocks in play. That shot just kind of died out there, so it'll be a medium-ish guard that curled a bunch, which makes Ian very, very tired. Says it's too early to have to sweep that hard. Not a lot going on in this end, so they're going to see if they can bury one behind this red. That one too turned out there. Maybe a little spot that kicks it in. Really got to go to get that past. Oh, I was wrong. It had plenty to get past. Settled in. Back 8. Leaves the door slightly ajar. Broom's getting moved out further and further on this side. So there's a spot halfway down the sheet where it just turns in. But then once it turns in, it seems to stay pretty straight from there. So everyone kind of trying to figure out the ice right now. Shots on the way. He pushed that one in. See if that one also hooks. Didn't catch a ridge quite as much there. Diving in fine, but a little big. Now looking for a freeze, and they get a bump. And still not a lot doing there. One is now officially shot rock for the time being. Certainly Weekend at Bernie's aims to change that. Playing this from the outside, which brings the guard into play. But hoping to cross the face and get a blank is my guess. Throws it probably control normal-ish. They're trying to hold it. There's the bump, but it sticks around. And if such a thing could happen, they may be disappointed with their one. It After 2, it's a 1-1 tie. Third end action from TropiCurl. We've got a yellow sitting top 4-ish in the house, with red changing that scenario and replacing said rock a little wider. Weekend at Bernie's will choose to ignore that rock and play a center card. Just now recognizing Weekend at Bernie's is spelled Bernie's, as if burning a rock. Very good. A little slow this morning. Yep. Hawaiian shirts match the theme. Ostensibly, everybody out there is alive. All right, we've got red lying 1 with a rock on the way. There is a yellow rock way in the back. To have a split house for Plan B. So Weekend at Bernie's faces a split house, and the way they choose to deal with that is with a dead draw down the middle. Well, it winds up deep and not helping at all, and I don't know if they made the shot they wanted, how that would have helped them. Plan B would have just, if they had set that, on the button top 4, Plan B comes back, rips it, goes underneath. But now they're happy to just follow Weekend at Bernie's in. Take those back 2 out of play. that checked up and curled a little more than they were hoping for, and it winds up a very, very shallow guard, if you want to call it that, to shot rock. But a double opportunity, not a great one. But if you catch the front red rock on the outside, you've got a double. Catch it well on the inside, which leaves red not lying 2 anymore, but only lying 1. Changes things a bit. So I think the thought here is you're lying 1, just go ahead and split the house again. For that to happen, it's got to be full 8. Location doesn't matter as much, but you've got to be out counting that back yellow. They are. Now they're worried about trying to bury it. Doesn't get buried, but it does split the house. And immediately, Weekend at Bernie says we'll take the left side out. Definitely a double opportunity there. There's more than one way to make a double here. I don't think you have to worry about jamming on the back at all. You just throw some heat into that pocket. Good things will happen for Weekend at Bernie's. He did toss it outside a little wide. And we'll pick off the outside one. And it just does skirt past the yellows in the back. So still, plan B, line 1. As they contemplate strategy.
I think now's the time for a double on the yellows.
So the warm room talk is, do you double out the yellows in the back, or do you split the house again? You know, doubling out the yellows in the back does split the house. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then you're sitting 4.
And then you're sitting 4, not just 2. Looks like that's the call. So they're taking plenty of broom. It looks like they're not going to throw big at it. I'll call that maybe controlled down. Absolutely no handle on that rock, though. None at all. Finally starts picking up a handle. Does spill out one. The other one does not spill out. But spills far enough for red to still be 1-2. And so the end result after those 3 shots is a split house by plan B. So Dusty drawing up on the telestrator, a possible hit. That roll is big, 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 big roll.
But if they can get it over here, they're behind.
Yep.
In the guard with the red rock. So.
for sure the right call. It's tricky. You gotta come with the perfect weight to get that hit and roll, 6, 7 feet over. Roll in front of the yellow, also a fair option, although you're guarding a rock that probably isn't going to matter. So the result is a little double. And Weekend at Bernie's lies 1 after that. That turns out to be a great little shot. Flips the script a little. Plan B going to come back and try to keep the split house theme going. Shot looks a little wide. Still going to clip the yellow just fine. They lose the shooter. So we have a split house of sorts. Vertically split house. Unfortunately, that's not the way curling is played.
No, not typically. In Pittsburgh in June, anything's possible.
We do have Plan B still line 2, which has been the theme of this end. But a reasonable double opportunity here. Nose on red gets them both and sticks around, and the script will have officially been flipped. Fairly long run back, but anywhere within an inch or 2 of nose spills them both, I believe. Nice release. Low out of his hand. Now they're sweeping. It's really curling. A chance to get the back one. Nope, they do clip the front one. That curled more than I think we all probably expected with that weight. Peanut Gallery to my left says they expected that amount of curl. It's easy to say from your box high above the ice. So we are left with Plan B with a counter way back there in the 12-foot and a attempted splitting of the house once more on the skip's first shot. Sweepers are off of it the whole way. They either love it or it's heavy. The latter being the case. And that's a goner, a tripping hazard in the back. And an opportunity for Weekend at Bernie's. Basically just through this shot. They give him the same ice, so he must be going to throw this a little bit harder than that. And that is the case. They're still on it. That looks just fine. Nose sticks around. Nice shot. And it took all the way to the skip's first stone, but yellow now sits one. Trading hits on the back one. See if Plan B learned anything from the previous two shots. And they clip it, but lose the shooter. And a blank end in N3 leaves it still 1-1. All right, and we're back. And soon for the at least one viewer at home to feature more studio microphone and less background noise. End at number 4 is underway, and it shapes up with a biter for Plan B, a center guard for Weekend at Bernie's, and a hit and roll on the way. Trying to push that one over. We got the hit, but the roll is to the outside. And doesn't do a lot of good for anybody. But mission accomplished. Red is gone. They will try to put it back. We've been told our audio has improved by the single viewer. We're going to look at our stats here. We got 5. We got 5 people watching, baby.
24 total views so far.
24 people have been off and on. It's big time. Weekend at Bernie's delivers the rock. It's a spinny, floaty rock that looks quite beautiful, honestly. That's going to settle up just perfect at the tee line. If the goal was to bury it on the tee line, you can't do better.
Now, Carson, Plan B has hammer. Would you rather them peel the guard here than try and draw underneath, or do you think they still have a chance to time to draw underneath?
Yeah, I mean, that guard is pretty high. So I do not at all mind coming into it. But they're playing really aggressively. They're going to try to come under the corner. That shot looks pretty nice for that. It's got to curl up a little bit. Really aggressive call there, though, in a tie ball game in the fourth. 14-1 to tee right there. Some medium quick ice with plenty of curl. Ice is playing nice. So now Weekend at Bernie's contemplates what is really just a wide open hit that will settle on the tee line for a split house. Guess that's the danger. If you're going to play that aggressive, you absolutely must bury that shot. It wasn't buried, so the hit is on the way. Skip says, whoa, whoa, it's plenty wide. Push it over. And nothing doing. A big miss for Weekend at Bernie's after a pretty big miss for Plan B, which allows Plan B to come in and guard what was a miss. And I was going to say, if they're looking to guard second shot, they are getting a little too aggressive for my liking. But he pulls back and says, let's get rid of shot rock. Which has to be the call here, right? Has to be. Ian puts his hand up to indicate I just threw it a little wide. And wide enough, nothing doing. So kind of 3 misses in a row all of a sudden makes this game interesting. Still contemplating. That's what he was contemplating.
Put it right like here. Guard up the shot line.
I mean, you know, so conventional wisdom, I like the center guard call here all day long. But we just saw Plan B go after that shot from the outside. Center guard, even if in a great spot, isn't going to stop that shot. And could result in a Plan B lying 2. So he takes away the draw path from that side, but Plan B is going to get a second shot at the shot they wanted one shot ago to lie 2.
I don't mind that Plan B's call here, but it's also, very interesting to me. That is pretty decently guarded. You can maybe see a quarter of that rock. So
yeah, I think a big deal is he just threw it.
yeah, you just need the weight is key on this. You have to have the right weight.
That
It's not going to curl.
also looks plenty wide. They're trying to push it. They need to push it. Click, and that is no good at all for Plan B. Well, the last several shots have been interesting. And what we wind up with is a weekend at Bernie's Shot Rock, guarded up, but with button still open from the left side.
You're going to try and guard that up now.
And they see that too. Yep. If they put this top 12, top 8 over on that side,
Plan B's in trouble.
Plan B's starting to look not fantastic. Though they'll have a really long double shot, I guess. Shot is on the way. The line looks pretty good. They're sweeping it for weight. Weight looks pretty nice as well. Now they get off of it, and that settles right down into a path that Plan B cannot like at all. Very nicely executed shot there.
Sitting third shot, but definitely helps take away some of that draw path.
Yeah, there's a fortress out front now. And Plan B skip Constantine does not like said fortress. So the thought here is remove the top yellow and then try to flop over a little bit. The yellow is indeed removed. The double is not made because we jammed there on the back to leave yellow still 1-2, and now looking to guard 2 shot stones. Weekend of Bernie says they're going to have a hard time getting in on that side. We can only guard one side. Let's guard Shot Rock back here. And I think that's the right call.
Either that or come in this way and put it right here in the palm of the hand.
Yep. That'd be a great shot.
Top 4, then it's pretty much in jail. You can't get to it.
Yep.
It's shot, so this one doesn't even matter anymore.
Looking for Mr. Magnet. Joey Magneto to just end up holding that rock right in the palm of his hand. Would be a perfect shot, I would say. Line was on the broom. This will all be weight dependent. Now it picks up a little curl. Looks like we're crashing into some guards, but the tick, no tick on the top guard. A little tick on the top guard would have been nice to move over and set in the hole. Ended up coming in and tapping Plan B back. To what is now second shot, and what was second shot becomes third shot. But Plan B can see half-ish of Shot Rock, so they're going after it. It's going to be a tricky shot. Don't think there's any way to keep the shooter. Well, they could keep it, but I don't think there's any way the shooter becomes Shot Rock on this, unless it's more of a freeze than a hit. Looks really tight from my viewpoint.
Keep it off your own.
It is. It ticks. Red shooter rolls to second shot, so a little bit fortuitous there for them.
So Bernie's now just looking to guard up their shot rock in the back of the 8-foot there.
Yep. Bernie's in possession of shot rock. With that broom, I'm not sure they're looking to guard. I think they're looking to put it on the palm of the hand themselves.
Either way makes this, they're making sure that they have a shot to steal here.
The line is really pretty. Weight is what matters most now. That line is beautiful. And on the palm of the hand, they do indeed accomplish. That is a filthy shot and puts Plan B in a bad spot.
You never want to be drawing against two when you have hammer.
Drawing against two with hammer. Mr. Magneto just holding the rock. You couldn't have thrown it better. Could not have thrown it better.
And being right there too, it kind of guards up, half of the button too, so you can't. It makes any draw in this.
Yeah,
way
that draw's tough.
because now you might wreck off of this. So it's almost like your only draw is this side, which hasn't really been curling for you.
They're looking to hit and roll, and that roll has to, just flop over a little bit and spin in. And it's got to be full four.
That's precise.
A incredibly difficult shot on the way. Just crushing it out of his hand. Now off. Now a little push. It must mean it's close. Little outside. And the outside roll leaves. Weekend at Bernie's scoring one in the fourth. That was a nice end. For better or worse, the commentary is back. When you have volunteer commentators that also double as volunteer ice makers, duty calls every now and then. Not that kind of duty. Come on, people. All right, what we got here? We got Plan B lying 1, 2 with a bunch of stuff out front, but it looks like both of Plan B's rocks are available for Weekend at Bernie's to hit. Well, that's the call. It's the only one I see. Going to be a little difficult to get across the face and under, but not extraordinarily difficult. The right weight makes the shot and just rolls clean to the forefoot. The rock is on his way. Right out of his hand says, hey, you need to keep it straight. I'm not sure that was the case. Oh, I do think it was the case. And once again, it's hard to throw a better shot than that. Weekend at Bernie's coming alive in the middle of the game. Now they've got Shot Stone under quite a bit of cover. So much cover that it's causing Plan B to look at the other side. Aaron McManus joins me at the booth. We apologize. We only have one microphone, so Aaron will sound faint if you can hear her at all. But nobody's listening to us anyway. They're watching the curling.
How many viewers right now, Carson?
I don't know. We don't have that screen up. 5 at last count. 5 people watching us. Plan B, skip shot on the way. Coming in from the right side. The line is perfect. The weight is a little big.
Too much left.
And what turns out to be too big. Weekend at Bernie's still lies 1. Lies 1, but Plan B has hammer. So then the question is, how aggressive do you get with this shot? Do you try to score more than 1? So the broom's all the way out there at the edge of the 12. And the delivery has been made. Line looks pretty good. Now they're on it to draw it deep. All three, everybody's crushing the rock, and they get it to just bite 4, and we don't know if it's out counting the back red or not. I don't know. I don't know if they know. So the call here is to hit their own guard. Ostensibly to drive it back into the yellow. It's offline for that, but it does expose that yellow, which doesn't matter because it was hammer. So they're looking at it. They have agreed. I don't know what they've agreed upon. We'll find out momentarily. It was 2 for Bernie's. So we start the 6 with Bernie's up 3. And a guard being thrown. And it turns out to be dead on the center line, but also dead button. So now Plan B has a choice to make of how they want to play the rest of this game, being down 3. Might be tempted to hit that. But the scoreboard being the way it is, they have chosen to ignore it and throw a corner guard. A corner guard it is. How deep is the question? We wind up with a very high guard. Over off indeed. So it's getting a little late in the game. You're down 3. You need guards. That one's a very high one, but could be useful later in the end. Here comes a Weekend at Bernie's guard in kind. Line looks pretty good. Weight looks pretty good. That is a fine center guard. Overcurled by a quarter of a rock. Which which gives Constantine a little bit of pause, but back to the corner guard scenario. Aaron reminds me the no tick rule is not in effect. Could tick that. Trying to come under their corner and are going to have to hammer that rock to get it to paint. Winds up a second corner, which again could prove to be very useful. But both the game and the end are getting a little long in the tooth for Plan B as Weekend at Bernie's continues to execute shots. The center guard here for Weekend at Bernie's sets them up incredibly nicely for this end. Ice looks pretty keen. I mean, they are, I'm not getting times, but they're barely coming out of the hack. That one needs to curl up. And with the now medium guard being a little offset in the other direction, that guard winds up being pretty good. So now Plan B faces a shot on the button with a good stack of guards out front. So appeal is the call. Shot floats in. Slightly off nose, doesn't get the back one, but does open up the yellow rock, which was the goal. So now the end has indeed manifested itself in a way where Constantine is looking at a trick-ish shot through a one rock hole, 1.5 rock hole perhaps. It actually looks pretty good. It did make it through right on the nose. And that is a game changer. Now, immediately, Weekend at Bernie's goes, we can do that too, my friend. And if they can, this gets interesting. The rest of this game becomes who can toss it through a 1.5, 2 rock hole consistently for the rest of the game. Now Bernie's attempt at that shot hung out a little wide, clips the guard, and now Plan and be in the driver's seat in this end. Yeah, looking at time, for them to get 2 more ends in, they have to finish this end in 2.5 minutes. That is not going to happen. So they're only going to play 1 more end after this. So red guard on the way. Sweepers are really crushing this rock. They must think it is light, and it is. It is a chance of a hog, which would be terrible for plan B, but it does get over, and it leaves that same hole that they had before. So he tightens up the broom and says, throw the same shot. The hole may be slightly wider. What a turn of events. He threw it in. Sweeper is holding it. Can he hold it? Hold it. And it clips the guard again. Toss that one in right out of his hand, just a few millimeters. And that was the difference. What a couple of shots there. Now the idea is to put it on the center line and take away the hole, which is now gigantic. He tossed that end out of his hand. Gonna over curl a bit. And it looks big. And shot rock is wide open for Weekend at Bernie's through now what is the largest hole they've seen to date. So the skip has seen this shot come down the ice about, what, 4 times in a row now. So he should have a pretty good handle of what this does. He's got a tight broom. Gonna try to flop under just a bit, if anything. And this does not need to be more than probably control. Looks to be a good control. They're sweeping to keep it off the center line. Line looks pretty good if it gets by. It does, and flops over. Ooh, it flops pretty big. But flops just right to be a shot rock that nobody can get to. And as soon as I say that, they are making a call to try to get to it, I think, which is perplexing at best. But perhaps the scoreboard dictates this strategy. Teammate Doug has joined us at the booth. He laughs. He's not at the booth. He's booth adjacent. Doesn't want to be heard. Okay, so I guess my call was wrong. They were just throwing tap weight in there. Draw / tap weight, which is less perplexing. And that winds up okay. Maybe slightly better than okay for plan B. But the hit is there through the hole. It's just a different hole than they've looked at, so it's changed things. So that's what the house looks like. As they prepare for the pivotal shot. Moves the broom a little outside right before he throws. It's got some weight to it. They're hammering it for line. It does clear easily. Tixon rolls out. So they're over here with the same broom as before. So looking for a draw in and or a tap on perhaps the 3 guard that's out there. Either one of those are fair scenarios. Well, it's getting late in the end, obviously. Getting late. It's as late as you can get in the end, and I had not paid attention to the biter in the back of the red the whole end. Which is kind of a big deal now. Line is fine, but it looks a little light to me. No rub helps them out to get the deuce. So after 5, it's a 4-3 game.